What is up, you guys? This is CometShredder, and Playtonic has released a trailer for Yooka-Laylee. I woke up, saw there was an email on my phone with like the Kickstarter update. They've released the trailer. It is awesome! The hype is growing more than ever, guys. I was going to do like kind of a reaction and watch it, but I figured that's not really fair to Playtonic to, put the trailer in my video, so I'm going to put the link to the trailer in the description below. I'm so excited I can't even talk. I'm gonna put the link to the trailer in the description. Make sure to watch that if you haven't already. Then come back. I'm gonna do some analysis of some of the things that we saw in the trailer. It's a pretty in-depth one, so buckle up. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Go watch the trailer if you haven't. Come back. Here we go. Here's some analysis. In this first shot, we get a better view of what was recently revealed in previous screenshots. It definitely looks like this area is more of a home hub for Yooka-Laylee, with the green crates and purple barrels. The Christmas lights in the background are also a nice touch. It definitely looks a lot like a pirate ship, which we've been told is the home hub for Yooka-Laylee, so I'm pretty confident in telling you that this is the home hub for Yooka-Laylee. In this next shot, we see that the duo is rolling up this ramp, which has holes in different places. This means you can control the roll movement somewhat. I doubt you can turn on a dime, but you also don't have to go in a straight line. Also, take a look at the power meter. This is when they're at the top of the ramp, so we can see that this roll move doesn't drain the power too quickly, but the roll definitely does use some of that power. So this might be hard to tell just from looking at, but this is immediately after Yooka-Laylee have double jumped, which I'm assuming is a move learned from Trouser. They've already left a platform and they're jumping a second time. We also get a look at the quill meter in the top right, and there are also some quills in the distance on that platform. So it's kind of cool. We get to see like basically one of the only collectibles in the game, so that's pretty cool. Take a look at that item on the platform. I don't think we have a name for these items yet, but I'm pretty confident that this item is what you'll give to Dr. Puss in order for you to transform within levels. It's the equivalent to Mumbo tokens from Banjo-Kazooie. In this image, we see that Yooka has just finished toasting all of these baddies with a stream of fire. As we saw in the trailer, and we'll see in some later screenshots here, he uses his tongue to get abilities. I'm sure that he probably licked this burning pot or something, and that gave him the ability to breathe fire. How long these abilities last, I'm not sure, maybe 10 seconds? I don't know, we'll just have to wait and find out. Also, we see that this Skull Kid that was pictured in the Ice World in the previous screenshots, it seems like he's kind of a recurring character throughout levels. It's really not determined yet whether he's a friend or foe, but it seems like he's not being hurt by this fire, so I'm going to have to guess that he's a friend to Yooka-Laylee. In this sequence, we get a good look at Kartos and the types of things that he's capable of. This area looks pretty similar to the kart sections in Donkey Kong 64, where you're having to dodge obstacles during the ride. I also find it clever that Playtonic used almost exclusive footage from Tribal Stack Tropics throughout this trailer, as to not reveal too much of the game. Smart advertising, Playtonic, well done. Take a glimpse of this shot. The duo have just emerged from the transformation machine as the plant transformation that we mentioned a couple videos ago. That's not the main point I wanted to get across though. We see that this item that we had in question, this gun type machine, we now know what it is. It's the base, for lack of a better word, for Dr. Puss in each level. This means that she doesn't have like a house or hut that Yooka-Laylee have to go into like Banjo-Kazooie had to. It's just out in the open. It's a different approach from the Banjo games, but I'm glad that I won't have to wait the extra 5 seconds going in and out of buildings each time I want to transform. Here we see a shot of the heroes actually flying. It's hard to tell from this shot, but Laylee is actually pulling the duo upward. This drains the power meter at a fairly decent rate, so it'll be something the player has to keep an eye on while airborne. I'm sure that if the meter runs out, they can probably still glide down for a while and won't immediately fall, but still, keep an eye on that power meter while you're flying. Now this part took me a bit to comprehend, not so much as what's going on, but who's performing the action. After I replayed the clip several times, it definitely sounds like Laylee has an audio clip right as it goes off, so I'm guessing it's some type of sonic boom or sonar boom from Laylee. This again looks like a move that drops your power meter, but it's a cool move nonetheless. A few frames from now, the baddies are sent flying. That's one powerful bat. I'm including this shot here, not so much for the clip itself, but for the move. Amar, a frequent commenter and a big part of this channel's community, basically called this move nearly 2 months ago. I'm quoting him here. I think one move will have Laylee lift Yooka into the air and drop him on his head as a slam, like the move in Banjo-Kazooie because Yooka has a biggish head. That's basically almost exactly what's happening here. The only difference is that Yooka himself jumps up in the air. It's not Laylee that's pulling him up. Still, a great call by Amar. Props to you. There's not a whole lot going on in this shot, but we do see Yooka-Laylee swimming, and both Adam E Entertainment, another Yooka-Laylee enthusiast and YouTube extraordinaire, and myself consider this to be someplace in either Quack Corp or Ivory Towers. I'm going to assume that it's in Quack Corp, and that will be the industrial level in this game, since Quack Corp is essentially, seems like the labor portion to like the Ivory Towers scheme, while Ivory Towers seems like a place of like pompous executives who wouldn't really bother themselves with any manual labor. Another thing that I did notice in this shot is that there's not like a breath meter or like an air meter, so maybe Yooka-Laylee can swim underwater like as long as they want, kind of like in like Donkey Kong 64 and other games. I know in like Banjo-Kazooie they did have an air meter, so maybe in this game they won't, or maybe they just didn't show it here. I'm not sure. There's not a lot going on in this clip either, but we do get a good look at the final form of Trouser. Adam E Entertainment did have a good point to add. He mentioned how Trouser has a chat icon above his head, using the more modern method of showing that a character can be talked to. In Banjo-Kazooie, we didn't really get these tips as much, and sometimes we were left wondering if we'd be able to talk to a character, or if they'd just attack us if we got too close to them. Also, Adam mentions how Trouser is heard saying some actually understandable words and not just the gibberish that most characters have. I would have to guess that he does have a mix of both and won't use like full words the entire time, but who knows, they might surprise me. This was one of the moments that got me the most excited from the trailer. We can see that Yooka uses his tongue to touch the cannonballs on the side. This allows him to not only become colored like the cannonballs, but also it seems to become essentially made of lead. We can see him walking through the strong gusts of wind without being blown off the map. Like the fire that we mentioned earlier, I bet this is an ability that wears off in a short amount of time, so you'd better get across that bridge quickly or you're going to be blown off. In this shot, we get another good look at the library section. I'm just about ready to confirm that this area is in Ivory Towers, given that there are the honeycomb symbols on the walls. Maybe this isn't a library as much as like maybe the record area of the company, like where they keep their records, or something similar. We also get a peek at another unlockable move. This one looks like Yooka can use his chameleon powers to blend in with any background. That's what I'm assuming, unless he can like turn into a ghost, which seems unlikely. This one seems like a learned ability because it's draining their power meter while it's being used. It'd be kind of cool to be able to see the duo a bit more transparently to get a better view of what's directly behind them, to really make it seem like a chameleon's camouflage, but that might make it too difficult to actually see the characters themselves then, so I'm sure they know like what's best when they're making the game. I think it's going to be pretty awesome either way. This appears to be yet another temporary ability, like the fire and lead from before. We see Yooka shooting ice balls at a target that falls down soon after in the trailer. This explains the ice blue coloring of Yooka that we saw in a previous screenshot. I suppose there's a chance that the fire and ice are things that Yooka can learn to do without being power meter based, but to me it seems like it's kind of a temporary thing. I'm gonna stick with that idea. To be able to shoot fire and ice balls at will without it draining powers almost seems too OP to me. In this sequence, we can see the butterflies that Yooka and Laylee have to collect to maintain their power meter. It appears the duo are in a race and must use the roll technique to move faster. Since the move drains power, they'll have to collect butterflies along the way to continue their roll, or else they'll stop rolling and essentially lose the race. The rings appear to be some sort of checkpoint along the race for the duo to roll through. I included this shot mainly because we get a first glimpse at the health meter. We see that the purple butterflies are what represent the health of Yooka and Laylee. This means that butterflies serve two purposes. They both refill the power meter as well as the health meter. You get power by just running into the butterflies, but to get the health, Yooka has to grab them with his tongue. This will definitely lead to some decisions that have to be made, whether to grab a butterfly for health or for power. I'm assuming that the power meter will slowly refill itself over time without getting butterflies, but I could be wrong. As always, we'll just have to wait and find out. This clip gives us a great view of the scale of Tribal Stack Tropics. This appears to only be about half the level maybe, so there will be plenty of land to explore. There even seems to be a region behind the clouds in the distance, so perhaps that's an area in this world that will be expanded by Pages? I certainly think so. This next shot was the only disappointing thing to me in the entire trailer. It looks like we'll have to wait until early next year to get the game. Don't get me wrong, I'm not upset with Playtonic for pushing the date back. I'd rather have a perfect game and wait a few extra months than to get it sooner and have things left out that they wanted to put in. I'm just a bit saddened because the hype has been growing substantially, and now we have to wait a little longer to have that hype relieved. But you know what that means. There's time for even more hype to grow. That's right. This last shot I just had to include, not only because we get another glimpse of the duo just hanging out and having some dialogue, but we get such a direct shot at Microsoft here. If the quote of having car sections wasn't enough to convince you that it's a jab at nuts and bolts, take a look at what's in Yooka's glass. A freaking Jiggy. Playtonic, you guys are way too clever. They also seem to have a thing for undergarments. There's a magazine beside Laylee's towel, which the towel itself I think is funny because it's way bigger than a creature Laylee's size would need. But the magazine beside the towel has green underwear on it, which we also saw in a screenshot last time, hanging from the mast of Yooka-Laylee's ship, Batship Crazy. Not only are the Playtonic group a clever bunch, they're also a bit odd, a trait that they fully embrace with pride. Heck, it makes games like these a lot more fun to play anyway. But that's all the information that I could gather and speculate on from the trailer. If you guys could think of anything more that you could speculate on, make sure to leave it in the comment section below. I'm all about people speculating. I do it all the time, and I like to hear other people's speculation as well. That's right! And I don't know about you guys, but I am more hyped than ever for this game to come out. So if you are just as hyped as I am, and if you liked this video, make sure to click that like button down below, and you'll help shred it all the way down. Also, if you are new to the CometShredder channel, the CometShredder community, I always put that subscribe button right up here. Make sure to click that subscribe button and you will help shred it all the way across. And you will join the channel that hypes up Yooka-Laylee basically more than any other channel on YouTube. That's right! But thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you for being just as hyped for Yooka-Laylee as I am. I'm still going to do a full playthrough of the game once it comes out. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. I'm going to be so hyped. But thank you guys for watching this video. This has been CometShredder. And I'll see you next time.